Hello everyone. Today I am going to explain about the types of materials in electronic devices and circuits subject. Out of that, how we can classify the materials means here we have two criteria we will take to classify the materials. That is, one is depending on the conductivity of the material or the electrical property of the material, and the second one is depending on the band energy gap of the material, that is the band gap between valency band and conduction band. Now I will explain how the types of materials will be there. Materials are classified depending on the electrical conductivity as three types. The first one is conductors, and second one is insulators, and third one is semiconductors. So what is conductor means? Conductor means it will offer very less resistance or zero resistance for the flow of current, or we can also say that its conductivity is very high. Its conductivity is very high, and in terms of values, its conductivity is 10 power 6 to 10 power 8 ohm meter inverse. Okay, so then the type of materials are called as what? Conductors. Okay, so now the examples for the conductors are metals, that is nothing but aluminium, copper and iron. Now the second one is insulators. Insulators means here the materials that offer infinite resistance for the flow of current, or the conductivity is very less, then the type of material is called as what? Insulators. And their conductivity is of range between 10 power minus 10 to 10 power minus 20. 1 by ohm meter or ohm meter inverse. Okay, so the examples for the insulators is here the rubber, wood and plastic. Okay, now the very important thing for any electronic student to know about the materials is nothing but the semiconductors. Okay, so the name itself, it is there, semiconductors. That means the conductivity is in between the insulators and conductors. That means what? The conductivity is in between the insulators and conductors. Then the type of materials is called as what? Semiconductors. So if we observe that the conductivity varies between 10 power 6 to 10 power 4. That is 10 power 4 to, we can also write here 10 power 4 to 10 power 6 ohm meter inverse. That is in between these insulators and conductors. That's why these materials are called as what? Semiconductors. So, and their conductivity lies between 10 power 4 to 10 power 6 ohm meter inverse. Okay, so this is the classification depending on the conductivity, how the material has what is the amount of conductivity that will have. Depending on that, we have classified as conductors, insulators and semiconductors. Now for us, the very important concept is here, depending on the band energy gap, we have classified the same materials as conductors, insulators and semiconductors. So materials are classified based on their energy band gap. Then what is energy band gap? For that one, first you have to know what is band diagram. Okay, so mainly the band diagram consists of two bands, that is, one is valency band and another one is conduction band. Okay, so if you observe what is valency band, suppose if you consider any atom here, this one is the nucleus and these are the orbits. Okay, so in these orbits the electrons will be rotate and electrons will be there rotated. So these cells are called as what? Valency cells or outermost cells. Okay, so then what is the valency band here? So valency band is nothing but the range of energies possessed by the valency electrons is called as what? Valency band. Okay, so it consists of full of electrons. And another one is what we have? Conduction band. Conduction band is nothing but the range of energies that is possessed by the free electrons is called as what? Conduction band. Okay, so here the valency band we have and conduction band we have. In between that valency band and conduction band we have energy band gap. So what is energy band gap here is nothing but the energy gap between the conduction band and valency band is called as what? Energy band gap, or we can also call energy gap, or another name for it is forbidden energy gap. Forbidden energy gap. So depending on this value, that is the energy gap between conduction band and valency band, we will classify the materials as three types, that is conductors, insulators and semiconductors. Okay, now we will see how the band diagrams will be there for the conductors, insulators and semiconductors, and what is the energy band gap here between conduction band and valency band of different types of materials. Okay, so here another point we have to know here is we will generally represent EC here, and here we will represent EV. Okay, so EC is the minimum energy level of the conduction band. Minimum energy level of conduction band. And EV is nothing but maximum energy level. Maximum energy level of valency band. So generally in short form we will represent VB and CB. That is, here EC is nothing but the energy level, the minimum energy level of the conduction band, and EV is nothing but the maximum energy level of the conduction band. Then the difference between the EC and EV, okay, is called as what? Energy gap, or band energy gap, or we can also say that forbidden energy gap. Okay, so depending on that energy gap, we have classified the materials as conductors, insulators and semiconductors. Okay, now we will see what is conductor and what is insulator and what is semiconductor and what is their band diagrams. Okay, so here if you consider here the conductor material, that is any material that is conductor, means we are considering examples as aluminum, copper and iron. All the metals we will consider as the conductors. Okay, so here the valency band and conduction band, this is the conduction band, and this one is the valency band. Both will be overlapped here. For the conductor, both will be overlapped. This one is valency band and this one is conduction band, and there is no band gap between the conduction band and valency band. That means what? The electrons can freely move from valency band to the conduction band and conduction band to the valency band. Whatever the electron that will move from valency band to the conduction band, that type of electron is called as free electron. Because of that free electron only, the current will flows as the free electron moves from one point to another point in the conduction band. So due to that, the current flow will be takes place. That's why it is called as conduction band. Okay, the conduction band consists of free electrons. Conduction band consists of free electrons. So here also we can say one concept that whenever if an electron is rotating in valence cell and if you apply some external energy, that electron will comes out of that valence cell and it will become free electron. So here that external energy we have to apply will be zero, because the valency band and conduction band both will be overlapped and there is no energy gap that is present. That's why here the conductivity is more in these conductors, because for a infinitesimally small value of external energy, or it is almost zero value of external energy, the valency cell electrons will travel or jump from valency cell to the conduction cell easily. That's why there is more availability of free electrons will be there in the conduction band. So because of only one condition, the energy band gap is equal to zero. So in these conductors, the electrons will move freely and more conductivity will be present for the conductors. Now we will come across with here we can say that energy gap E is equal to 0 electron volts. So here we are applying external energy, means that will be measured in electron volts. That electron volts, that means that energy is equal to 0. We cannot apply any external voltage or external energy to this one. So that's why it is called as conductors here. The band gap is 0. So next, if you come across with the insulators, in these insulators we have full of valency band. That means what? The valency electrons will be moving in the cells. That means they consist of more number of electrons. But here we have the empty conduction band. But here if you observe this energy band gap, Ez is equal to 9 electron volts. It is very much high amount of energy that we have to apply to make the conduction in the insulators. That means what? If you observe in terms of energy band gap, here energy band gap in conductors is 0 electron volts, but here it is 9 electron volts. That means what is 9 electron volts indicate is nothing but this much of energy is required to make a conduction in an insulator. That means if you apply greater than 9 electron volts, then only the valency cell electron will move into the conduction band and they will conduct. So this is very high amount we have to apply to make a conduction, and at the same time we can say that because of this high amount of energy required, so these will be called as insulators. So this is the energy band gap is more in insulators. In conductors it will be 0 electron volts. So if you come across with the semiconductor material, so here we have valency cell, full of valency cell, and here almost empty conduction band is there, but here the energy band gap is 1 electron volt. Okay, the band gap is 1 electron volts. That means for a small amount of energy we can move the valency electrons into the conduction band and they will become free and they will conduct the current for us. Okay, so that is about semiconductors. So finally, what is the conclusion here is the energy band gap in conductors is almost 0 electron volts, and if you come across with the insulators, it is very high. The energy band gap is very high. So now we have the third classification. The third classification is nothing but semiconductors. For the semiconductor, the energy band gap is in between the conductors and the insulators. That means what? Here for the conductors it is 0 and for the insulator is 9 electron volts. So here we have 1 electron volts, that is in between the conductors and insulators. That's why these are called as what? Semiconductors. So this is the classification of the semiconductors, classification of materials depending on the energy band gap. Okay, so this is very important concept to learn the semiconductors and the Fermi levels where it will be present and all those things in an intrinsic semiconductor or extrinsic semiconductor, where the Fermi level will be present, and all those things we will study by using the energy band gap. And at the same time, if you come across the operation of the different electronic devices like tunnel diode, we will explain the operation of that tunnel diode by using this energy band diagram. Okay, so that's why this classification is very important. This will be you have learned in the school level, but this one is nothing but now you have to learn this energy band gap or energy band diagrams of different materials. Particularly, we will go with the semiconductors because all the electronic devices will be studied by using the semiconductors, or manufactured or formed by using the semiconductor materials. That's why to learn the properties of these semiconductors by using the energy band diagram, it is very important. So this is the classification of materials depending on the energy band gap. Okay, so this is about all the types of materials, but our point is more concentrated on semiconductors because this one is electronic devices, or we can also call as this one as semiconductor devices. Okay, so another one is what? Semiconductor devices. All the electronic devices will be formed by using the semiconductors. Okay, Now we'll go with the semiconductors. Once again, I am giving the definition of the semiconductors, which type of material it is called as semiconductor. If the conductivity is in between the insulator and the conductor, then the type of material is called as what? Semiconductor. Or another definition is, if the energy band gap is in between the conductors and insulators, then the type of material is called as what? Semiconductors. What is this term? Semi means what? If you observe one example, if you consider, what is the conductors means, or semi-government organizations means here? One half of the half will be maintained by the private persons, and remaining will be maintained by the government. That means it is mixed of private and government organization. That's why these are called as semi-organization. Similarly, here it will be present semiconductors. So it will be present insulators and conductors. The conductivity is present in between insulators and conductors. That's why it is called as semiconductors, like semi-government. Okay. So here we have two types of semiconductors will be there. One is intrinsic semiconductor and another one is extrinsic semiconductor. So intrinsic semiconductor, another name for this is pure semiconductor, or pure form of semiconductor. So what is the another name for intrinsic semiconductor is here pure form of semiconductor, and another type is extrinsic semiconductor. In this extrinsic semiconductor we have another two types, that is N-type semiconductor, and this one is P-type semiconductor. Okay. So which group materials will generally take it as the semiconductors means, here the fourth group elements we will consider as the semiconductor materials. Okay, we have of course different types of materials, again elemental semiconductor and another one is compound semiconductor, that we will come across later. But which type of which group elements we will generally consider as the semiconductor materials means fourth group materials. Or in the periodic table, in the fourth column, we have the fourth group materials like carbon, silicon, germanium, tin and lead. These are all considered as the semiconductor materials. Out of these materials, we will consider the silicon and germanium are most important semiconductor materials for us. Okay, because the carbon, if you consider the carbon and if you consider the tin and lead, here if you consider the carbon, it cannot be used as a semiconductor because its energy band gap is 6 electron volts and it is very high, and to make that one it will be very costly. That's why we can't use this carbon as the semiconductor material. Now we have silicon and germanium are most widely used semiconductor material. Out of these two also, the silicon is very widely used, presently widely used material or the semiconductor material, because it will be available very cheap, it will be available everywhere, and its processing is also very cheap, and at the same time its sensitivity to the temperature is low. Its sensitivity to the temperature is low. That's why this material, this silicon is widely used materials nowadays in the semiconductor or electronic devices. And we are also having another one, that is germanium. So by conclusion here, silicon and germanium are considered as the semiconductor materials. Now here we have tin and lead also we have, but out of that white tin and white lead will be used as a semiconductor materials. But these two are widely used materials as semiconductor materials, that two are fourth group elements. Okay. Now we have two types, and again this is the one classification about intrinsic and extrinsic semiconductor, but we have elemental and compound. Elemental means here single crystal semiconductors, that will be silicon and germanium crystals are considered as the examples for elemental. But compound means it is a combination of it is a combination of two or more another group elements, that is nothing but combination of third and fourth group, fifth group, and some atoms from column, that is second group and sixth group, we will consider as the compound material. So depending on the applications, that means if you consider LED, so different colors we require. So for that one we will use different combination of these elements, that is called as what? Compound semiconductor materials. So these are called as compound semiconductor materials. Okay, if you form by combination of third group and fifth group, if you form a combination of second group and sixth group, then these type of materials are called as what? Compound semiconductor materials. So if you consider the combinations here, fourth group element silicon carbon and next one is silicon germanium combination, if you use, these two are called as fourth group compound materials. And if you consider third group and fourth group, aluminum phosphide and aluminum arsenide and gallium phosphide and gallium arsenide, these are all called as what? Compound semiconductor materials. That means what? It is a combination of any two groups, that is third group and fifth group and second group and sixth group. So here zinc sulfide, zinc selenium and cadmium sulfide, these are all called as what? Compound semiconductor materials. Okay, so this is about the types of semiconductors, that is intrinsic and extrinsic and elemental and compound semiconductors. And for today, this is up to this. I will stop, and in the next video I will explain about how the extrinsic semiconductor, that is N-type and P-type, will form. Okay, and what are their properties, and at the same time how the intrinsic semiconductor will behave at T is equal to 0 Kelvin and T is equal to room temperature, and all those things I will explain in the next video. But today I am closing this.